You there. Yes, you. For the past week, I've had an issue with this topic in particular, the talk surrounding this game. And I know the attention span of the internet is abysmal, so I'm probably late to this, but in true Twitter fashion, I could not stop being bothered by this. The discourse surrounding immigration and the discourse surrounding this shitty corpo game is two entirely separate issues. And like in true woke chud centrist fashion, I absolutely needed to explain this and why it pisses me off in such a deep and unique way that I'm almost self-polarized by it. I don't care for the random streamer, YouTuber, drama queens and kings, but to talk about this, it's almost necessary to talk about them. This particular review of the Gamescom blockbuster Take Us North just disappointed me. The talk surrounding illegal immigration is usually never about legal immigration and how corrupt and bullshit that system is. It's always, hey, look at this guy, he did a bad thing, and guess what, he's an illegal. And then the other side refutes with, hey, look at this other guy, he's a good person and did a good thing, and he's an illegal. It's never about the problem with our archaic immigration system, and the fact that Texas wasn't allowed to defend its own borders blows my mind just as much as the fact that for 3 decades we had presidents except Biden that were way tougher on it. 2 of which were Democratic presidents that utterly failed to deliver on the immigration reform, one of them being Clinton absolutely fucked it with the Illegal Immigration Reform Act, and the other one talked about reform and went on about it and then deported the hell out of everybody. And although one could argue, well, Obama tried with the Comprehensive Immigration Reform Act, that doesn't change the fact that he did fail and tried to substitute it with legal immigrant protections, which is not the same thing. Those protections are now being threatened by the current administration just 13 years later, so it didn't really do anything. It's bullshit. These people, these honest people that are trying to get through our shitty systems and are just being used as target practice by the left and right, shows that they never really cared about those issues. One side wants to make more legal immigrants illegal by changing the rules just so he can maybe one day deport more people than Obama, and the other is trying to just let in everybody, and as if that didn't completely fuck everything up during Biden's administration, and all that really did at the end of the day is paint a target on immigrants' backs. Neither of those things actually solve anything. They just delay the problem a little bit more. Yes, crime has gone down in the case of New York City. Homicides have dropped down 46%. Chicago has 38% fewer shootings, and fentanyl-related deaths have dropped from 76K to 48K. But that last part was a bit of a lie, because that didn't happen in 2025. That happened in 2024. In fact, in 2025, there has been a rise of, I don't know how to pronounce this, nitazines, despite the tough immigration and mass deportations. Talking about criminal illegal immigrants is just talking about the percent of a percent. In fact, illegal immigrants are nearly half as likely to commit a crime as at a rate of 613 people per 100,000. This, with the 14 million known illegal immigrants, puts us at around 85K criminals. That is 0.6% of 4% of our total population. If they were causing that much damage, then what the hell are our governors and our mayors doing that allow such a low number of people to do that much damage? Regardless, this wouldn't have been such a divisive issue if we weren't running a lottery for green cards and our Democratic leaders were actually upholding their promises. Uncompromising enforcement won't fix the problem. We wouldn't be dealing with this today if it did. Ignoring it and pushing the issue into free hotels doesn't really work either. Currently, there are more paths to legal immigration than green cards and citizenship, which makes absolutely no sense to me, because at that point you just want to have the benefit of taxing people without the responsibility to them as citizens. But if I say out loud this to people, they would get mad either because they think that this means I hate immigrants and I want less paths for legal immigration, or because they think I want more immigrants by making the system easier. No, I want the system to just be fair and just. Is that too much to ask for these days? Which camp do I fall under for saying that I want a safer America and also want due process? Which party do I belong to if I want our immigration laws to be enforced but at the same time want less of a bureaucratic hellhole of an immigration system? People have their lives ruined by political bullshit and come here for refuge through legal means, except maybe during Biden's term. I think the illegal border crossings accounted for something like 60% of illegal immigration during his term, but those refugees are then lost in legal limbo for 5 to 10 years, overstaying a visa in the process because the people in charge just take that fucking long. And after rebuilding their life, because because leaving disqualifies you for asylum, just to be told no, because asylums don't count anymore, because our fickle politicians don't have the backbone to actually introduce better legislation, because both parties have benefited more from the issues with immigration than actually solving it, completely baffles my mind. Like, why the fuck can people with criminal histories be lumped into the same process as those with none? Isn't it obvious that those cases would need to be looked at with more scrutiny and therefore will bloat the system? I'm all for empathy and believing people who committed petty crimes like shoplifting in their teens should get a second chance, but Jesus Christ, don't lump them in together into the same system as everybody else when you're building a bureaucratic process. It makes no sense to me. The having to maintain residence for 5 years in order to apply for naturalization isn't an issue. I get that, I understand that, and in fact, I'm surprised it's not longer. But the fact that applying for asylum could take 2 to 10 years with zero transparency on anything but case status is a testament to the fact that no president in the last 30 years really gave a shit about the people just trying to follow our fickle laws and our bipolar legislation. They just want big numbers, and that's it. And before you forget what this video is about, let me remind you the other issue I have with this. Take Us North is a fetishization of illegal border crossings. I'm so sick of this side of people pretending to care, and honest to God, I have no idea how they even get into these positions in the first place. Like the CEO of Cracker Barrel changing the logo. When I heard that, my first thought was, how the hell does somebody like that get in this position and make that kind of decision? Is it nepotism, rich people reality detachment syndrome, infestation of liberal white women? Who knows? But I do know one thing. If you picked up anyone, and I mean anyone that's ever been to Cracker Barrel, and asked them if they thought this would be a good idea, they would have looked at you stupid. And yet, looking at that decision to change their brand and this person's decision to make a low poly, cutesy, artsy fartsy story about the horrors of illegal immigration baffles and upsets me to a spiritual degree. It's like somebody looked at an Animal Crossing game and was like, what if I did this, but with illegal immigrants? And yeah, one could argue Schedule 1 fetishized drug dealing, and in fact, I kind of agree a little bit, but the major difference is that Schedule 1 didn't pretend to be this humanizing and sad story about the world of drug lords. And Modern Warfare told a story about terrorism and counterterrorism and the politics without being pushy or cutesy or whatever. The mission No Russian served to make us uncomfortable with the morally gray nature of counterterrorism, and did so to such a degree that many people refused to play it. But the fact that bullshit like this was supported by Microsoft pisses me off, because I genuinely think that this could have been, and technically still can be, a raw and unfiltered, unbiased, morally gray story about the shit that goes on in the border. Imagined we lived in a world where COD devs still had the balls to do something like this and tackled this issue by giving us a game with varying perspectives of the people affected by it. Imagine one mission, you're a red-blooded American trying to serve his country as a border patrol agent, fighting the cartel, trying to do your best despite the nefarious actors on both sides of the aisle. And the next mission, you're a father trying to navigate the godforsaken desert in order to forge a better life for him and his family, unable to do so legally because of the shitty bureaucratic fickle laws. Imagine a game where the characters have to do morally gray things to tell an engaging and morally gray story. What a crazy idea. And the funniest thing is that they really could have done this, but no, they brought back the Nicaraguan drug lord Raul Menendez from the dead to tell us a story that is about the future and some tech giant, not a story about the destabilization of Nicaragua and how it's affected its people, causing them to flee to the US from Menendez's tyranny and butchery. And it definitely wasn't a story to tell us about the cartel and how it affected the average American citizen, hypothetically, that would have caused an uproar in politics, causing patriotic citizens to join the fight. No, instead, Black Ops 7 is going to be about this investigation of a tech giant, like we didn't already do that with Advanced Warfare. And this is exactly what bothers me about this. I swear to God, it's almost like a PSYOP to get people to hate the left and hate woke activism even more. Like, it's almost too convenient that the game studio backed by Microsoft contrived a failing game that could have told a genuine story and an honest story about what actually happens in immigration and could shed light on this that isn't polarized. And the developers, they used to be known for political nuance, now no longer do that kind of stuff. Instead, they make Fortnite clones. They brought back the one character who could have played a major role in a story about cartels, the CIA, and immigration, and instead used them for nostalgia bait and a run-of-the-mill villain. Is it too much to ask for a Call of Duty Border Patrol Edition? Also, how the fuck did this game get $56,000 to produce this, not including what Microsoft funded them with? There's only like one level and barely any of the NPCs are animated. And when they are animated, it looks like old school RuneScape animations. No offense to Jagex, but I could make this shit in a day if I wanted to. Can I get $56,000? Not to mention their tier system is horrific to look at. $500 for an in-game Easter egg, $75 for a soundtrack. I don't usually look at Kickstarters, but is this normal? Oh, but if I pay $5,000, I could take a field trip to the border. That's nice, I guess. And look at their stretch goals. What the hell is this? It's 7K for more music, 15K for some art books. They say developing a game like this takes creative challenges, and apparently I am too blind to see how this low poly trauma porn is creatively and technically challenging, and this line right here resonates with me. Take Us North is a story that needs to be told, but I don't believe by them and not like this. Anyways, legal immigration needs better policies, politicians need to quit being cowards, and gaming needs better devs. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and good luck out there.